What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining us again on this great episode, the day after Thanksgiving. How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling full, belly full.
Yeah, I had like a Friendsgiving yesterday, and it was probably actually the biggest like food selection I've ever had.
Yeah,
So
that's how it is.
Oh,
yeah.
Dying.
And in Hawaii, everyone's from everywhere, so it brings a bunch. There's a lot of stuff. I had a Friendsgiving yesterday.
Yeah, it was good. So I'm here with Eric Dubois.
Yeah.
First time we've been able to sit down like this. We've met just recently. We officially met. I don't think we talked on Instagram before that.
Nope.
But I've heard, and if you've scoured every episode, you've probably heard his name several times from several different artists.
Shout out to thank you.
So it's good to be able to sit down with you today, man. So before every episode, what I like to do is, for you guys listening, I like to give sort of a sample of who a creative artist producer is, so you can understand them and get a little context into their life, what they make, what you're about to hear, how it works with what you're listening to, you know? So that's about to play now. If you'd rather get straight to the interview, to the talking, that time code is going to be here. I like the
I love that part. I love that part because you also make that screen at the time. Okay, cool.
It's a lot of money to start off with. But when you start making money, and this is the first thing that I want to say, if you start making money with your music, it's time to reinvest in the plugins that have helped you to make that money. It forces you to focus on what you need and get the sound that you want with those plugins. So that's a huge plus with purchasing plugins. And whenever you can invest in it, start investing in it, because you're going to learn the plugin, you're going to be better with the plugin, you're going to
I didn't do anything special. I didn't pitch it. All of a sudden, I got an email saying your song, Kid Sen, got taken for the Tasso T and Chaesar placement.
Everyone's mental health. We all deserve these.
If you want to make money and if you want to make a living as a musician, don't only think about one big source of income, but a lot of small sources of income in the end kind of add up.
And we're back. All right, man. So I've heard nothing but good things about your skills as a producer. So could you tell me, how long have you been making music? Where did your huge journey in this start?
No, so me, it's pretty much kind of like everyone who really started music. So I started playing guitar as a kid, and then I grew up in France and played guitar as a kid, made a band with my best friends, and it was all Blink-182 at the time. That was like the thing. So I did a punk rock band for maybe 10 years until I was 24. And then we all got kind of older. Electronic music came around. Hip-hop was I was a little more into hip-hop.
Yeah.
So started making beats there. And now I'm 34, and it's been officially 10 years of the YouTube Academy, YouTube school, and learning everything on the way. And yeah, we're still at it. And that's how I kind of got into it.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know you, what all do you offer, and what all are like your skills and your services?
Now I tried a lot of things, so I used to, but now there's a fine line between a record producer and a beat maker. So now I'm more of the record producer role, in the sense where even if it's not my beats or my instrumental, if the artist is cool and the song is cool and I'm really vibing with it, then I just jump in as like an extra member in the band, and I help them record, I help them get it out, I help them with the video ideas, or the real ideas, the marketing, or what TV show would it be good on, all that kind of stuff. And it's a little bit more I call it the Rick Rubin kind of approach.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Rick Rubin was the main producer on most of those hit records.
He's a
legend. And it's just about being a fan of the artist and letting them do what they do, and just filtering through whatever you think is cool. And that's what I like to do now. So it's a lot more. But yeah, I did the mixing, mastering, all those other kinds of services, and selling beats online. I went through that route too, to try to go through getting sync placements, which is all about getting your music in the background of TV and film.
Yeah.
And when you all get into when you try to make a living out of your passion, no matter what, video or music and all that, you gotta try everything.
Yeah.
And see what works.
Huh.
But-
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's not surprising that you say you're a fan of Rick Rubin. I feel like I see a lot of similarities between the character. Obviously, I don't fucking know Rick Rubin, but,
Rick Rubin is a
but of what I
boss.
know of him, you know, I've never met it. I can't say I've ever met him. But what makes you a fan of him?
Actually, I realized it when I was looking at the back of I was getting into music, getting into more of the jobs. What kind of careers can you do in music? Since the band didn't really work out, and then my parents were pushing me to do like just go study in the other kind of route. So it's kind of hard to find. And looking at the back of my favorite albums, and I saw Rick Rubin was in there a lot. I think he even did an old B.B. King record. He did the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Californication record, also the Blood Sex Sugar Magic record, which was insane. And so I found out his name, did some research, and then saw some videos of him in the studio where he's just helping out the bass player, finding the perfect bass line. Like, no, that's super cool. Do a little less notes. You know, just that kind of advice.
Yeah.
And I found that really cool because that's what I love to do. And that's what I can kind of like spend hours on end, you know, and just kind of get lost into it.
Interesting.
But then, you gotta do the mixing and stuff. But Pharrell Williams too, the Neptunes,
Yeah.
they were huge, and you could start. That was a whole era to my generation. So I mean, I was born in '89, and so social media wasn't there before it started coming in, and there was a huge generation of super producers. So Timbaland, Pharrell Williams, there was Dr. Dre. Have you seen? There's some crazy things for Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
But so that era where it was kind of like producers were starting to get the front stage, and we were starting to really know what's the career was, and beat making and everything started becoming so much easier.
Yeah.
And so it was just follow the wave and kind of
Yeah.
learn. It was cool. Yeah. And I have a YouTube channel, so I go off on a tangent talking alone a lot because I'm not used to talking to a lot of people. So it's either me talking a lot or the artist that talks a lot. So it's one or the other, and this time it's me. But yeah.
Yeah. So, one, I want to ask you about that, the streaming. But two, I want to do a little shout out. Look, let's see. I don't. It's right. It's on autofocus. Look at this.
It's super hard to focus.
This is. I'll make sure I'm on the right camera for this part where I'm showing off the cassette. This is a gift that Eric brought in. And this is probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I don't know if you see there. It says EDP Beats on it. He put my name on it and everything. And then this has your beats on it. So are these in... Do you sell these?
Yeah. So I do, but they're actually just little bonus whenever we get a service. But they're USB cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And instead of downloading beats or all that, you can, beat tapes was a big reputation back in the day. And so now I can just put some beats on there, exclusive, give them to an artist, and then it's a cool little stamp.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like to remember. So it's a cool little gift for artists that trust in me. And yeah, it's super cool. But you deserve one.
Thank you. I appreciate
so
it.
I just put some in there.
That's so cool. I can't...
Super easy to do.
Yeah.
You can find on the website. It costs maybe like $10 to make, and you can get you gotta just research. There's everything you got in your head is doable.
Yeah.
So, and it's not crazy expensive. So that's kind of the symbol of that. It's like if you have a cool idea in your head, just do a little research. There's always a way to do it, and usually it kind of works out. Graphics, get it done by someone on Fiverr, super cheap. And then you have this amazing disc makers, I think is where I bought it from. And they have a bunch of different things. Musicians and artists all know about disc makers to print CDs. But do you have a CD player?
I
don't even have one in my car anymore.
Yeah, I don't think my car... One of my cars has one. We have two. I think one of them has one.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's the CD car. Okay. But yeah, so trying to be creative. So that's kind of the image of that.
Yeah,
cool.
I show that to you guys because that's not like bringing a gift with my name and like a note in it, like showing your appreciation and stuff. A custom one like that. Like that's not something normal, you know? And the reason I show it to you guys is because to show the level of character and the distinction. Because I don't know to try and relate this to any audience watching, how often do you get, like, on the random, like, gifts like that, and that people have ideas to come up with stuff like that are just outside the box and then just given out?
Thank you.
I don't know.
man.
That's dope. I
Thank
think that
you.
is. I think that's like. It just intrigues me.
That's so cool. Look, I mean, for me, that's the little. I think it's the little details, and I always have artists that come to the studio, and they always bring me food, and there's always there's always like an exchange of things, and when we are at we officially met at the Hanging Mic.
Yeah.
And when we were there, you just decided to do the interviews on your own. You're like, oh, this would be a great extra feature for this event. That's not yours, just to help out, just to give an extra, a little grain of salt, extra salt on it. And so that's kind of the idea. It wasn't too hard for me to make. It's something that I'm super happy of, and it's a cool little extra salt.
Yeah.
Just no appreciation, and it's Thanksgiving, so thank you.
Huh.
But yeah, everyone should start doing those kind of things. I got this T-shirt too. It was a friend who gave it to me, who's doing his own perfume and flow essence, and so I was helping him out with an event. And then this is also a friend's printing company, and so
Cedric.
Yeah, Cedric. Yeah,
Hell
exactly.
yeah.
Cedric Clinton, who's insane. Cedric Clinton's insane. Who's another artist, and that's part of that's what's cool about producing now, and the difference with beat making and production is now with artists. I can lock in for a longer time, and it's not just a studio session where we have to record one song's usually ready to go, the beat might be from YouTube or something, and then you just record. With Cedric is more, and now with every artist that I work with is more, we come in, we write a song from scratch, and we try to figure out the instrumentation, we try to figure out the beat, we try to figure out the concept and all that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super fun.
That's super fun. That sounds dope.
And then it starts coming together, and it looks good, and then there's the whole... And that's for every other creative side. There's the whole administration and business side of it afterwards.
Figuring
That's
it
like
out.
a pain.
Yeah.
But we all got to do it though. That's how you make the money.
Yeah. Facts.
But yeah, it's fun. It's super fun.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So, streaming. So, what do you stream? I really don't know anything about like streaming.
Live streaming. So that live streaming really started coming up. It's been existing for a long time on this called Twitch. So it's mostly for gamers that like to live stream their games, and so it goes kind of there. And but during COVID, there was a big switch, and everyone was working from home. Everyone was at home, and so for musicians, there was a lot of songwriting sessions going on through Zoom.
Yeah.
And going back. So it's a different feel than in the room, and a lot of producers and musicians started going on Twitch to do live performances and a whole 4-hour live stream of them taking covers from people watching and things like that. So Twitch actually, if you're gonna, is a website to people go on that website to watch live streams of something. So they don't go on YouTube to watch a live stream. If your live stream pops up, so it's a great way to get discovered while you're working, and that's kind of my live streams. I'm on Mondays and Thursdays, and I usually hop on more than that. Whenever I work, I just turn on the camera. And then if I have a mix that I'm doing or a beat that I'm making or something, then just have that filmed.
Really?
And it saves me time because I don't have to, I can just download the video afterwards, have the God audio. I can reuse that content for reels or anything like that. I don't have that many people watching, and that's not the point, really. When people do come on, then it's fun and some different kind of vibe. But it's just an easy way to stock up on content and promotion.
Interesting.
And once people do come on, then that's where it becomes really collaborative and really fun, and you can really start getting samples and sounds from other people around, and then you can make a beat there, or they give you good ideas for switch ups and different changes that I might be working on a beat, or I might be uploading songs to different websites that I need to do, and so stuff like that is just open book kind of.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the main goal is just to be able to download the video afterwards and save me time on, instead of refilming a YouTube video for it, or instead of doing another video or something, at least while I'm working, it's getting recorded. And so I can, if I have an aha moment where, oh wow, this beat switch up was super cool, I got it on camera, and I can just
and then you can
I can just
make
chop
like
it up.
a tutorial or something.
Yeah,
or
then I can
reel
download or make a reel or just use it as any other piece of content. If the song comes out, there's one that did that. I started doing live streaming after COVID. And one song finally got placed and came out with an artist from Canada, Kettle Lansgard, amazing artist, rock and roll, mix of Pink Floyd and I would say a mix of AC/DC vocal and David Bowie, kind of that kind of style. Viking dude, super tall. And so we had a song that I made on live streamed, and it just came out, a rock kind of song. And I found the me making the moment, making the beat, and making the first time I played that guitar riff and
That's
that. And
cool.
it's like, oh, that's super cool. And so it's a good way also to, because that's the game now, and we can
That's
get
awesome.
into we can get into marketing a lot, but so much. But it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I never.
Mostly for that, huh? Because now I did the YouTube game, which worked out, which was okay. Starting to get I had one video that went viral. I don't know why. And like every other YouTube videos that say it's just video number 72, it just went. It just worked. This was up to almost 400,000 views now.
Yours did?
Yeah, but
Hey.
it's been like a few years. I think it was probably right after COVID, so maybe 2022, 2021 it went up, and I've been milking it for like a year.
Yeah.
I haven't posted anything else or anything like that. It's been giving me it's starting to go down now, but it was giving me at least $100 a month for a good year straight, that one video.
Shot.
And it was just video number 72. And it's going to pass in the reel. I'm going to send you in the email. It's going to pass in the intro. But yeah, it was about cracked plugins and how I lost a bunch of jobs because of cracked plugins. And it worked. I don't know. It just worked. I don't know why. And so that's where now you can analyze those kind of things and kind of figure out and kind of go again. And that's the whole point.
Interesting.
Yeah. And YouTube was really fun. So I loved making YouTube videos, but it takes so much time and it's so much work, and you got to plan it and you got to shoot it. You got to edit it. You got to chop it. And it's just so much work that now the live stream kind of route makes it just so much more.
Yeah. I'm
Easy.
intrigued.
I'll send it to you. It's a lame ass video about cracked plugins, but I don't know why it worked. Everyone in the comments are asking, where can I download this free plugin? And it's like, well, that's not the point of the video. So it might have been like, it might have landed in a forum or something weird. And but then the YouTube ads went on there. It grew my subscriber counts.
Yeah.
And it was just that one thing worked.
That's dope.
Yeah. And then when you have now it's been, so that's also a cool thing. Like I feel we all have the grinding stage, like the learning phase.
Yeah, yeah.
There's at least a good 2 years of learning phase. Then there's another maybe 2-3 years of grinding where it's time to put in the work. And then you get to the phase where it's like, all right, I'm tired of grinding, and you just get to do what you want to do. And I feel like now I'm at this phase. The grinding helped me a lot because now I was able to I was working a bunch of different jobs at the same time. Always had a 9-to-5. Never really had like a full-time. A few months where I had maybe made $2,000 and it was good off music, studio sessions, mixing, editing, boom, boom, doing all kind of labor.
Yeah.
And but otherwise, it was always a bunch of different jobs. And thanks to my YouTube videos, I finally was able to get a job at Ableton, which is the software, the music software.
Shot.
Yeah, it's tech support, which
That's
is crazy.
dope. That's so cool.
It's super cool. So it's been like 2 years that I've been working for them now, almost 2. And I got it when I was in the van too. And so all the interviews I had to do in the van, I'm like, I'm never going to get this job. And I got it. So there's now I'm starting to realize that there's different roads. There's so many different roads that you can take to get where you want to go. And it just takes patience and consistency and really to not quit. And we were talking about that a little bit earlier. But yeah, it's just that.
Yeah.
We're on video 36. It's just a few more. We're just going to keep it on.
Man, I'm intrigued.
Keep it on.
You really have me interesting. I might start streaming.
Give it a shot. It's worth a shot. You got the whole setup and everything. So you hook it up the same way.
Yeah.
Except that instead of recording from FL, you'll be probably recording from Streamlabs or OBS.
Yeah.
And then it's just live. And then on Twitch, you can download the footage again, so you have the whole footage.
Yeah.
And then it's much more easier to kind of like chop things up. It's the same as if we're doing now, but we're live streaming it. Imagine. And so you're killing. Well, that's a hardcore phrase in Hawaii, but you're knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
In a way.
That's really cool. I didn't.
It's a whole different world, though.
Because I'd been thinking about getting into that streaming. And when I said I didn't know much about streaming, I meant I guess I phrased that wrong. So I know what streaming is.
Yeah.
But I'm glad because I'm sure there's gonna be people who don't. But I never touched it.
Okay.
And never really. And I thought maybe there was a way I could do it because I know a lot of people do.
Do you watch live streams?
No, I think in the past Nah.
No,
I
you gotta find someone that you lock into live streaming and that you watch, so that you can get into the head of the person. Why would they watch a live stream?
Yeah.
So why are you watching this guy? There was this one guy called Stolen Drums, amazing producer, and his live stream is just so clean looking. The footage is epic. There's a little smoke in the studio, and it's just him jamming out some beats. But the vibe is just there that it's perfect to put on the background and just chill. And so once you find someone that you like and that you understand why you would be live streaming, and just do it.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's cool.
So, do you stream while working on actual like projects?
Yeah. Every time.
Interesting. So my thought is, do you worry about like
Nah.
anything unreleased or anything like that you're
Nah.
streaming?
It all depends on the artist. Like
Yeah.
some artists don't want me to.
Yeah.
Some sessions, even songwriting sessions, I live stream usually.
Yeah.
So when the artist comes through, sometimes they don't. But otherwise, no, everything is open. Just to be able to capture that one moment that's like, oh.
Yeah.
The other day I wrote a song with Cedric, was really, really cool. And we weren't filming it. And so we didn't capture that aha moment of finally finding like that beautiful, the thing that makes the song.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, bummer.
Yeah.
But live streaming is a whole different world, and it's a perspective. You gotta believe it, and you gotta understand it. And I'm working on this project for this artist that does a sound bath. So she's from Argentina, lives up in Mocoleia in this tiny home, solar panel, power fueled, and she has this whole loop and sound bath thing. And so we're recording that, and I'm really thinking she would be great as a live streamer.
Yeah.
Just to be able to have a live stream sound bath, this epic view, Mocoleia, sunset, Hawaii, amazing. But I show her Twitch, and we open it up for the first time, and it's intense. It's kind of like when you open up TikTok for the first time. You got a bunch of crazy stuff that pop up. There's this whole ASMR world where it's people just talking real low and just all those little sounds.
All the reels for that.
Yeah. But there's some crazy stuff, but that's also the beauty of it, is there's everything. You can find everything on there. And so there's probably someone that you'll be able to find that will love your content, and it's a good way to get discovered when it comes to live streaming or something. Because if you do it on YouTube, a lot of friends do it on YouTube, which is great. I haven't live streamed on YouTube yet, even though I do have like some people. That's probably why I don't want to fuck up. So I'm like more, maybe not yet. Wait for it. And but I feel like I don't watch live streams on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, if I scroll, I want the video with the thumbnail. I want the perfect edit. I want the clean chapters are written. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the chapters.
Yeah, chapters are key, man. After since once they did that update, so much
chapters.
better.
I love chapters.
Some people still don't put chapters up there. Just put 2 or 3, real quick.
It's just another step of care you have to take in realizing, like, when I'm editing this, I gotta just force myself to be a bit more proactive.
Yeah.
What's this about?
Yeah.
How if I was watching this, what would I maybe like to see?
That's an interesting question that I have for you, is because since kind of like you do it all, it's the same as me, same as every creative. How do you step out when you're editing a podcast like this, which is 1 hour more, even maybe 2, maybe more long? Do you how many times do you wind up rewatching the whole thing?
So I'll watch it one time through, and then
mark the chapters. The key points.
So what I do is in Premiere, as I'm going through it, I just keep some little adjustment layers at the top, and those I label as I start it at the beginning. I do intro and sample work, and that goes for usually like 2 to 3 minutes, because it's just us saying hi and then the sample work, and then the actual conversation starts there.
Yeah,
and then from there it's just I'll usually listen to it in the background, and when a specific moment catches my eye, that's when I take a note, place a marker there, come back and make a reel out of that.
Nice.
And then it's just as I'm listening to it, it's whenever the subject changes, that's when I go up in a new adjustment layer and just write out what I want it to be called.
Nice. Okay, cool.
And then it makes it so easy.
Yeah, once you get that habit and that technique, or just getting that routine down, and it's different for everyone. It makes it. But I remember watching my own streams like 2 or 3 times in a row, and sometimes it's just after I have to get it in one go. Yeah. I don't like having to listen to my same episode that I had one conversation over, color graded, mastered the audio, everything, made all the cuts, synchronized it all, everything. I prefer just to do it,
and then just have more care while I'm doing it once, so I don't have to do it over again.
Yeah.
And it would be better if I went over it again. How could it not be better?
Yeah, no, that's true.
But that's kind of where I like am happy, where I feel like the returns on if I did that would be one, diminishing to where like I don't think I'd make any crazy adjustments.
Yeah.
And then the level it would drag on me to have to sit through it all again.
Yeah.
I think it would probably make me less productive.
Yeah. And and you get in your head and it's
less
just,
energy. Yeah.
It's just exhausting.
Yeah.
But if you don't do it, then you don't.
Yeah.
You have to do it. And that's the phase where I'm at. I have to get my system.
Yeah.
You have a good system going on with the adjustment layer and all that to write down the things. And it's all about systems then, actually.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. It's just making your system so quick that everything goes smooth and you don't have to think about it really.
Yeah.
And
that was one of the hard parts about starting.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know any systems at all. So I was going into it completely blind. So it's just it goes to that trial and error.
And you don't know what system is going to work for you.
Yep.
Because you might have a whole different. So that's why it's like the learning school phase, where you just try a bunch of different things. Try editing in Adobe. You got a bunch of tutorials on there. Try different things there. Oh, okay, maybe I prefer this or I prefer that. And you try different things. And it's the same when it comes to music. Is everyone, what's the software that I need? Should I change software to this? Should I change to there? It's just...
Yeah.
You just got to get your art and get it done, and then you'll figure out, and then what works for you, then the system.
Yeah.
You make it tight. Dropbox, like you do. You have Dropbox set up already. That was
I have templates. Every project I do at all, I have all the templates. I just copy and paste the folder. It's got like 20 different subfolders in it.
You're so
media,
good.
assets, output, all of that.
I'll need to look at your system. You'll have to show me afterwards a little bit of folder structure, because I've been on so long now. My folder structure feels organized, but it's a mess in the sense years and the months and the dates, and then going through, and then the footage and the raw audio and the stems and the
Yeah.
Try to keep everything nice and clean.
That was one of the very first things I did.
Oh, good job.
I everything was there, and I was like, this is not going to work.
Good job.
So that was one of I needed that file structure there. It was just, I just couldn't do it without it. I was like,
what do you use to take notes? Do you use
Notepad?
Notepad, and you keep everything in there?
Notepad, and then it depends on what I'm taking notes for. So I also have a book that actually I made in some high school class. It's like a note. It was like an art class specifically for making a notebook, like a short one. So I have some homemade notebook like that I take notes on. Yeah. If it's more of an informal thing, it's also like to-do list stuff like that for me to keep myself organized. But then if it's specifically like for a certain project, I'll just open up Notepad and then save it in there.
Easy peasy. Yeah, everything digital.
Yeah, but it's so much more easy. But I mean, even that is I wouldn't mind a better way.
Well, you always want a better way. You always want to think you could be better. You think you can perfect some things, and then it's finding where to put your energy to perfect. Is this worth perfecting, or is this worth perfecting more?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you're in those details where it's like...
Yeah, my thing about that is it's kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
And I know myself, if something's not right in front of me, it's like...
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Completely gone.
Yeah. That's why I write everything down.
Yeah, I have to write everything down. Oh, my God.
I watched this really cool video called Second Brain, where it's about transforming a little bit all of your thoughts to digital. So using Notepad, using to-do lists, and doing a bunch of stuff where you don't have to think about it anymore. You can just research. You can just type it in. I think I did a Dungeons and Dragons thing the other day. Blah, blah. You can just research on your notes, structure stuff, and your whole planning, and it saves you so much time. You remember more things, and everything kind of comes back into reality. It was a super interesting video. I love that kind of stuff. But and it all comes down to that, actually, because, and we were talking about it before, I've always had the moments where I made the most money with music was always the moments where I didn't expect it. So I had one good placement with the company Tasso Tea, and which is like the little tea brand, tea bags. They had a whole deforestation campaign going on on Instagram, and they had Chaesar on it, and so my music got selected for the background music of it.
Really?
That was a $5,000 check for an Instagram reel. for 6 months. So that's the whole music background of TV. And I just got the van at that time. I just had to do the down payment on the van. I was out of money. Everything would doom. And so everything would come in at the perfect time, as long as you just don't quit. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And so that happened with another sponsored YouTube video too. I haven't posted a YouTube video in a long time, and I just got a call right when I moved into my new apartment. Same thing, deposit I had to drop and everything, and I got a $2,000 sponsored YouTube ad where they just wanted me to shoot 3 reels in French talking about the service. DistroKid, which is great, which I use all the time.
Really, DistroKid wanted that?
Yeah, DistroKid.
Crazy.
DistroKid they were my first sponsor, YouTube
That's
sponsor
insane.
when I was just starting out. They gave me like $200 to just say DistroKid at the beginning. It was super cool, and ever since then, I'm a loyal dude. I stick with I stick with whoever showed me love at the beginning. I stick with them until the end, and they've been doing really great. DistroKid is really cool if you want to get your music out on Spotify. Or use that for podcasts, or what do you use to get your podcast out? Anchor?
I use Anchor.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Which actually they changed the name, I think.
Oh yeah,
it's now just like Spotify Podcasters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
exactly.
no, I love Anchor.
Yeah, I think Spotify bought him or something like that.
Oh, I always thought I must have.
Maybe it
Anchor.
was.
By the time I got in, they must have already bought it.
Okay.
Because that's where I found it. Was straight from Spotify.
I might be wrong too. Because the podcast world, every art form is such a different world.
Yeah.
Podcast world is a whole different world, and I started looking into it.
That's crazy though, because everybody uses DistroKid.
Yeah.
Everybody. That's insane. That's dope.
It's so easy. They make it super easy. So me, whenever I release a song with an artist, even if they're gonna be releasing it, I always prefer to do it myself. But if they use DistroKid, then we can just split the revenue. So 50% is just one email to send over, and you can do recoupments. So for example, let's say you want to record a song, you go to a studio, you pay $200 for the session, you record the song. Well, that $200 you can recoup on the royalties from the producer. So if you're splitting the revenue share 50-50 and you already paid the producer $200 to record, that's an advance on royalties.
Yeah.
So you collect all the royalties until you've recouped that $200 investment, and then automatically the splits are going to go back to 50-50. So that kind of stuff, it makes it amazing. It makes it super easy for creatives to be able to, I'm not paying you to do the podcasts or anything. And so if we're monetizing the content, it makes it so much more easier to be able to work with other people.
Yeah.
And not have that kind of grind and hustle mentality that a lot have.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of songs with photographers who did the artwork, and we're splitting royalties on that. Or a videographer as well, or even a graphic designer who did like a really cool art piece for an artwork. I'm splitting royalties with him too, all through DistroKid. They don't have to pay too much, and it's cool. It's cool dope. When you start, everything's negotiable in the world, and you really start realizing that. And so it's really hard to explain like what a standard record label contract is, or what a standard this is, or what a standard, what's industry standard now is kind of hard. It all depends, especially if you have leverage, and that's kind of the key. The whole key for anything is just to build the audience, which you're trying to. I'm trying on TikTok now.
Yeah.
Finally, stop being so stubborn about TikTok and going on TikTok, and it's true. It works. I mean, that's the cool phase that we're in now. That's really good. Is that it's been years now of testing social media, kind of for companies and stuff, and how does it work, and now the game plan is pretty much clear and rolled out, and it's just you got to do TikTok, you test your stuff. The ones that work on TikTok, you go to Instagram, then you transform that. It's just a loop, constant kind of cycle, and it grows.
Yeah.
Have you got into Facebook ads?
No, not at all.
That's a whole thing too, which also is part of the game. You got to get into it once you're ready to learn something, like, because you really got to dive in. Facebook ads is such a but it's key too now. People are using Facebook ads for movie trailers because it's just to get in front of the right people.
Yeah.
You just want to get in front of the right people.
Interesting. I've seen a lot of ads. I feel like companies are getting wiser to the fact of how to advertise well on social media.
Yeah.
How to advertise right, memes and shit like that, where they're not so out of touch anymore, it feels like. Or at least they're hiring the people who aren't.
Yeah, because now it's kind of like the game is pretty much set now. And so the rules are kind of set, and everything works how it should. So things can be predicted now a little bit more. You know what to change. Like if a video doesn't do well, if it doesn't hook on the first 3 seconds, change it, try it again. Oh, whoop, that worked.
Yeah.
I had on my Instagram, so when I was in the van, I used to make like a beat video a day and playing the guitar and looping, having like a guitar loop thing. And the videos didn't work too well. I thought I had the shot, like you had like the super clean shot, looked so good. And then when I moved it to TikTok, there was 3 seconds at the beginning of each video where the metronome would just go like, and then I would jam. I took out that metronome click and I just started jamming. It doubled the likes, it doubled everything. And you're like, ooh.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and so those little, that's the game that it is now. And it sucks. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. You know, it's not creative, it's not the art, it's not the thing. You just want to put it out.
Yeah.
So, but you got to do it until you can pay someone to do it, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it sucks. But it is what it is.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to figure all that out. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because
it's a lot, and there's so many variables. So you don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. So that's why you got to test everything. But the cool part is that now, at least knowing that allows me to get back into more of the art and the fun part of making art. So now I sit down and make a project with an artist. So we sit down for like a month, work on an EP or an album or whatever. And then once the thing is done and we got it clear, now we know the game. And then it hits into the marketing phase. Yeah. So if I can get into my life kind of routine, if I can get into the phase of where I'm working on an artistic project now, but at the same time, I'm working on the administration and the marketing side of the other project that I did. And so have that kind of nice balance is great, because otherwise then you feel lost. I got a ton of live stream videos that I got to edit and then backtracked, and it's just that that's not the goal, to get overwhelmed by just video editing and stuff that are not part of the craft. You know, it is important to do, but as a music producer anyways, but it just feels like sometimes overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But it is what it is. And it's never disappointed me. There was always a return on investment at one point. Yeah. It always worked out. So
yeah. Yeah, no. With social media, all that, the marketing, everything, the whole game of that gets so fucking overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Reels are like, I don't really, I have trouble understanding Reels, the success for Reels.
Have you tested those on TikTok, or are you talking about Reels on Instagram?
So and this is also part of my issue, is I don't really understand the landscape. I post my Reels on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Yeah. But I don't really understand the landscape.
Okay.
So I post the same Reel to all of them. And it's like, it's kind of overwhelming trying to understand how to make something enjoyable to watch. Because it's easy. It's like, I've gotten to the point where I can make something that you can watch, but it's like I don't even know what are the right questions to ask to just answer the simplest question. Yeah. Of what will make somebody want to watch this. Yeah.
And that's the hardest question of them all. What would make someone listen to this too? Like, listen to this project, and that's the same. And everyone is so different. I kind of base it on whenever I discover a new artist that I like and I'll be listening to on repeat. Yeah. What was my process? What happened there? What did I do to get locked in and to follow that? And I get locked in with podcasts a lot. So if there's a podcast clip that I see that's super interesting, talking about royalties or whatever, or from an artist, and that I don't know, that's the hard thing. You don't know the artist, you don't know how to get them locked in. You never really know. And then it's the Instagram, the Reel, I saw that, then I go see the long form. The long form was cool. Okay, let me check out the music. Oh, the music was banger. And then you dive in. But if you don't have those, you have to have that roadmap. You have to have those breadcrumbs. Yeah. You have to have the link in bio that sends over to the right place. Yeah. You have to have the song that hits the right time. You can't hit like now on Instagram, if you put a link to Spotify, people have to log into their Facebook to go into Spotify or things like that. Yeah, DistroKid gives you a link that's called a pre-save link, more or less, and it allows you to, whenever you release a song, you give that link and people can select where they want to listen to it. Apple Music, Spotify, and if they want to pre-save it for when it comes out, so that appears a notification. In order to do that, they have to click on it, takes them to Facebook. They gotta log into Facebook.
Yeah.
They have to do the authentication thing, so they gotta
Yep.
log out, come back through, boom, boom, and then it's like, ugh,
Yeah.
you're gone. And so once you get that hit, but you don't have the breadcrumbs set up afterwards, and the admin side, what I call,
Yeah.
then you're losing those hits that you're getting at
Yeah.
the beginning, you know?
I like that word breadcrumbs.
Yeah, because it's breadcrumbs. It's all over
It
the
is.
place. And you
Yeah,
gotta,
no, yeah.
update everything.
If I have to work for something that isn't like that I don't want,
Yeah.
I'm not, especially if it's like a link. Oh yeah, exactly that.
And you won't even it's the closest homie of the world. It might be your best friend, or you might be a super, super fan. But if they just make it that harder to do it, I'll do it once I'm on my computer when I get home. And
Yeah.
then you just forget.
Yeah.
And it kind of rolls out, which is
Yeah.
super. I love that kind of stuff.
Links to, and this honestly might just be like a platform issue, but a lot of my CR when artists have links to YouTube channels,
Yeah.
to their YouTube channel, YouTube videos,
Yeah,
and
same thing.
and it just pulls up YouTube within the Instagram browser.
Now they don't even have the open an app
Yep,
button
and then
anymore.
I'm not logged in, so it's like I can't like it, I can't comment
Yeah.
or anything. So now it's okay. Well, I would have to go to YouTube. Oh, what's the name of this? I would have to search that up.
Yeah, it won't
make sure there's nothing else that's gonna pop up.
Yep.
Make sure I can see it.
Yep.
It's just such a
It's
hassle.
so much extra effort, which is deeply appreciated when the homies do it, especially when
Yeah,
we're starting out. You know, when the homies
exactly.
do it, it's really good. It's really appreciated. But it's there's also one thing that I learned is like your friends are not your fans, so don't expect. My mom used to buy all of my albums that I would
Yeah.
put out, and like a few years back she stopped buying them, and so I was really expecting that extra $10 for Christmas. You know what I mean? From the album, still at 30 years old, whatever, and it's not. The fans are gonna come.
Yeah.
So you can't expect your friends to support you. You can't expect your friends to hit a like, or
Mm.
you can't feel affected by it because they're not the people that you wanna reach. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't be a big deal. And I know there's a lot of artists that get kind of heartbroken and kind of disappointed. It's like, oh well, why don't they
Yeah.
support me as they want to? They do.
Yeah.
Like if you do a show, for sure they'll show up, you know, or things like that. But the like and the comment, you got to reach the right people. So your fans are not your friends are not your fans.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I don't expect any of my friends or
Good,
anybody
good.
to watch these podcasts at all, because to ask for somebody's attention for an hour, I wouldn't do that
It's
if I didn't
crazy.
care about it. So I yeah, it's like, yeah,
Yeah, that's
I-
the best thing. Because
yeah.
then the ones that do lock in, they do lock in, and then you have
yeah.
that connection.
That was something I realized pretty early on, was like, okay, if I wouldn't personally care about this, how could I expect
Yeah.
anybody else to? So
Yeah.
that was one of the first game changers for me, in just realizing
That's
that
good.
it's important for me to be able to, like you said, view your own habits
Yeah.
as to what you'll watch, or as to what
Exactly,
breadcrumbs
yeah.
you'll like to follow.
Yep. Or
Yeah,
you,
it's
that's
interesting.
or you hit a new breadcrumb that what's this
Yep.
LinkedIn tree? You know, that's
Yeah.
a whole different thing. Oh, what up? Boom, 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 and it works, and you're like, oh, that's so cool, so cool. And now there's so many creative things that are happening too with AI and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, and it's just like, whoa. So now the videos with the subtitles, like Alex Hormozy, you know the Hormozy, he was kind of the new Gary V, let's say the 2023 kind of
Okay,
Gary V kind
yeah.
of dude. He's been blowing up for the past year everywhere, and everyone's kind of copying now his real styles, and now it's not working anymore as well, because everyone kind of jumps into it, and it's been done with AI, and the AI company offered to do it, like just upload your video and it does it. Great service, but it's just been ruining. It hasn't been working as well,
Yeah.
and so things are kind of like getting there. So you have to always have to check out the new thing, but as long as you love. Luckily, I still love music.
Yeah.
So now it's like really fun to be able to just make music.
Yeah.
And having all these other tools on my tool belt to be able, whenever I need to pull it out, like, oh, this
Yeah.
would be a cool reel, let's do this, or this would be a cool on TikTok or whatever. You just learn a bunch of stuff to be able to just, there's so many things to do.
Yeah.
So many things to do that it's hard to even begin. And now there's a big change in Spotify royalties. So you know how YouTube went from before everyone could be monetized, and then they hit the 1,000
yeah, I think I know
subscriber
what
mark.
you're talking about.
Yeah. So now there's the same thing going on with Spotify, where Spotify, there's a few stats that you need to know. Is the monthly listeners and how many streams a year does a song have.
Yeah.
And so if a song doesn't have 1,000 streams in that year, you won't get paid.
Yeah.
And so there was a big moment for for artists to. The only way to make it in the music business is if you can collect all of the pennies from every little source. If you collect all of the pennies everywhere, then you can make, you make a good amount. It's okay. You can make a living. But now, and that was my method, and that was the whole post-COVID, is like collect the money everywhere. And now that now that we're having that on Spotify, you don't have as much pennies coming in anymore. And so now you really have to focus more on how it was back in the day, where it's really pushing a record out. So you make a record, you got to put it out, you got to do the promotion for it. You got to make the reels, you got to make the TikTok, you got to go on stage, you got to go on tour, and back to that rollout. But you're doing it on your own now, which is actually pretty cool. And it's a different way of doing it. Things change all the time, and you got to keep at it. Keep at it.
I feel like for me, one of the things I have to, in order to allow myself to keep being able to change with that and to keep improving and just always, like always taking little steps, always improving, never stopping, is, I feel like, honestly, the most important thing to me is making sure that I just am having fun with it. Yes. Because, like, burnout is so real. For me, burnout is so fucking real. Yeah. Where if I'm not seeing, because I'm not seeing the return on investment that I would see if this was like a job. Yeah. Like hours worked or anything. I'm not seeing that. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because I'm enjoying it. Good. So, but the points where I sometimes will have to catch myself is if I get hung up on a project or something's stressing me out, or I get overwhelmed with the marketing, social media, then it's when I got to take a step back and be like, just have fun with it, because then if I'm having fun with it, I'm gonna do it. Do it for longer. And then just in the fact of that, I'm going to reach things, not because I know how to reach things. I'll just stumble on things that'll force me to learn, whatever. Yeah,
and that's how you get into it. That's how you start. That's the best way to do it. As long as you love it, you can keep doing it. If you don't, now I'm starting to not love editing videos. I'm getting tired of editing videos. I'm like, oh man, fuck. But editing videos is wow, everyone needs to know how to edit videos. It's crazy. It's crazy how useful that is. Yeah. But really, it's like the music. There's a bunch of different ways to make money in music. There's so many different jobs out there, so many different things that it happens. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And it happens at some point. You just gotta work on it and keep it going. And I'm telling myself, I'm telling this to repeat it to myself, actually. Yeah. Because we all hit the lows and hit the highs, and then there's always. So I lived in a van for 2 years, so I bought this Sprinter van and built it all out to turn into like this recording studio. Yeah. To be able to bring songwriters out of the beach and record and have a live stream from the van in the beach in Hawaii, all that. And 2 years in, it didn't work out according to plan, and it was another. You're gonna try a bunch of things, and a lot of things are not gonna work, and so this was just another thing that didn't work. And you're like, how much longer? I don't have another idea. I don't have another drive again that's gonna take me to the next step. So that took a while for me. That was all that happened billing December last year. Van started breaking down, so I had to sell it. It was just not ready to go, not ready at that point. Dog was getting sick, so it was just time to call it quits. Yeah. And now I'm finally then we got the stores. And now I'm finally getting the energy again and the motivation again.
Hell yeah, man. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, so it's super cool. So I got this sound bath project that I want you to experience at one point. That's gonna be super, super fresh. Especially for someone I'm not in that like spiritual kind of world, I love astrology. We can talk about stuff like that. I dive deep into the YouTube hole. But for someone that's outside, I'd love for you to try it out and experience it, because it's supposed to be this whole 360 experience to just be able to relax and zone out, because we're all made of water. So frequencies in music creates those vibrations. Yeah, you're made of 80% water and 2. So that's really cool. So I'm working on that. It gave me a little more drive, and we're gonna get that set up, which is sick.
All right, I'm gonna pause these. Do that. I think I know what the issue is. And we're back. So
Coffee break.
Yeah, we the coffee break and the camera ran out of storage. My phone did.
And we cursed it. I said it before. I said it might. What is it gonna happen?
I forgot to clear my recycle bin. That was I had so many videos in there.
We all need to clear the recycle bin.
So, you just asked me a question right before we got back into this.
Yes.
And it's a great question.
Thank you.
And I would love to talk with you about it.
Because I'm curious, and I think we're all kind of thinking about it. Do you have we're all content creators, we all make different art, but do you have a final destination? Like, do you want to realize, do you want to make movies? Do you want to make shows? Is it more of a radio show? Is it more of a, what's that end goal?
Yeah. And I said it's kind of a philosophical question, or like a deep question. Because I don't know. I feel like the longer I do it, the answer is less clear.
Yeah.
Maybe. In a way.
Yeah.
And it's slightly more clear because I see more of the routes that are available.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I learn more of that. But I feel like it becomes more philosophically muddied, because then the question rises of, all right, what am I going to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
What's the goal of my life? You know, not because you can't have a career goal without a life goal.
No.
Of just kind of how you want to live. So then I feel like for me, the question becomes, what makes me happy?
Yeah.
Before I can know like any type of goal I'm working towards, it's like, what makes me happy?
Mm-hmm.
And I do have.
Are you good in pinpointing what makes you happy? Really, truly?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think that brings up a question of being able to be honest with yourself.
Oh yeah.
Which is sometimes kind of tough, because that can move up against expectations that you have for yourself. Whereas, like, maybe when I started making music videos, which is what I started, like, all my videography doing that, maybe there was, I think if you would have asked me then, would you ever want to have a podcast? I probably would have been like, nah, I think I'm good. That's not really my route. But then it kind of raised questions once it's like, I was like, yeah, I'll do an interview. Mm-hmm. And then I enjoyed it. And it's like, okay, so expectations versus what I enjoy versus status, symbol, money.
And were you always good at talking to people and asking questions? And like, because you have, that's why I liked the Chase videos, and that's why I liked the whole thing, is because when I saw you do the interviews, it was always it was a good tone, and not a lot of people get that tone. And I know by doing like a bunch of YouTube videos, it helped me a lot to be able to talk more with people. It just gets that into the habit. So I don't know if videography helped you in that, or did you learn it on the way, or was it always like that and just felt right?
Well, I definitely had to learn how to be on camera and how to interview.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a pretty niche. If you haven't done it before, it's pretty new.
It's not as easy as it looks, huh?
Yeah, but it wasn't terrible learning how to do that. After 10 episodes, maybe I was pretty comfortable doing it. But what really made it easy is I've always been like outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, kind of, yeah, to an extent.
Yeah. Like easy to talk. You talk to people easily.
Yeah, well, like I just enjoy talking to people. I can't say whether or not I'm easy to talk to. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would say no, but I enjoy talking with people, and listening to what people have, and then honestly, I can't claim any credit for like the position I'm in, where what I have so much of a passion for intertwines so well with just being able to have conversations with people, you know, to where it's like I never have to worry about, oh fuck, what if I don't like this, or what if it doesn't, this topic I don't like, what if whatever, where it's just gonna, I'm gonna be able to enjoy getting to know somebody, because at the end of the day, they're an artist, they're a creative, they have a passion for something, you know. It's kind of like it's like a little puzzle. It's like untwining that. Yeah. It's like a challenge of how can I peel back the layers of how this person thinks and get to know them.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It's fun.
But that's also part of the and that's what I was curious when it comes to podcasts and and content creation. Do you have a lot of friends that do content creation as well, or would you say they're rare few? Because that gets a very, for me, it always felt like a very lonely world. And I used to be married, and she wouldn't do content, so it's kind of hard to understand and grasp with whoever your partner's with to, but you only got 30 views today, or oh, that album didn't work out too well, or this didn't work out. But it's just how do you manage that?
So I have a few sparse friends who maybe they enjoy photography.
Okay. There's not really a lot of people to talk to about that.
Yeah, other than that, but yeah, that was tough. Because especially when I first knew I wanted to make music videos, I had no fucking clue with how to start. Just finding some people on Instagram who thankfully were the coolest people ever, who have, when I had no background, nothing at all, were dumb supportive. So I appreciate, you know who you are.
Is your first music video still on YouTube?
It is. Yeah,
okay.
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll send you my first YouTube video.
Hell yeah. But yeah. Shout out, I think the very first person I ever hit up to do anything was shout out Eloise Dom in Columbus.
Ooh.
And you know what's crazy? 2019 I hit him up to work and he was dumb supportive. Dumb supportive. And before I joined the military and left Columbus, we didn't get a chance to work together. And we've never been able to actually work together, though.
No, really?
But he still has supported me.
Let's go.
And every single time I've talked to him about it, he's been like, man, yeah, like, it's all right. There's a reason. When we do work together, he said, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And we'll both be more settled, prepared, and everything. So
yeah,
shout out.
That's what happens. Hell yeah.
So
those are the best ones.
Yeah, but this honestly has helped so much because, it was really just for late 2019 up until late 2022, it was just I had a few people who I contacted and got like relationships with in this entertainment sphere.
Yeah.
But then this just skyrocketed where the people I met, business associates, artists, creatives, videographers, producers, people who like I was able to sit down with, talk with, and then it's like, oh shit, like this person is a friend.
Yay!
You know, so grateful for that.
It's super cool.
So lucky.
It's super cool, and I love this podcast because it's really fun. It's the way everything is kind of set up, everything looks, and everything's cool. And so many of my friends went on, and I think it's a great way to network. It's a great business card asset to get in contact and get in connections with anyone. When it's well executed. So
because then it's like networking is, especially in an underground sphere like this, where it's so much of who do you know, who, because that person, their friends are probably in this. So it's like I post a video with someone's friend, then it's like their whole spheres is able to see it, and then I have the chance to sit down, network with, talk with, learn about.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
That's the key point.
So, where do you feel like you're going though?
Well, that's where I don't know anymore. Before I always had like a driving thing, and now I feel it's just like you said. It's on the it's in the works. It's just gonna happen. So I just trust my gut now, and whatever I want to do, and it sounds stupid in a way, but whenever I want to do, then I'll go for it. So this sound bath projects that I'm working on really, really excited me. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is new. Let's go. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but at least, go for that. And then, but because I don't want to make content for the rest of, like you were talking about, life goals is the same kind of thing. Like, do you see yourself making content for the rest of the life, which is pretty much the deal in a way.
Yeah.
You're always going to have to do that. And, or I got a good 9 to 5 now. I'm happy with my 9 to 5. It's been a long time since I've had a good 9 to 5, and I was always the entrepreneur route, and hustle. And now it's more of I feel like it's gonna, and when you say it's gonna happen, like it's gonna happen, I'm not talking about a blow up or anything, but I'm talking about finally getting consistent checks coming in from music and from the projects and the art that I create. Is gonna happen. So you just gotta keep I just got to keep going at it. And that's why this is the first time where I don't really have a drive or a long-term drive or focus and just allow me to be a more creative on things and have fun with different projects. So I'm working with the Sound Bath with Carolina Pampicho, who's from Argentina. I'm working with Cedric, which you saw at the Hanging Mic, Cedric Clinton. We're finally working on an album, which is related to what you say. Like we've known each other since I moved here, so maybe like 7 years ago almost. Yeah. And for me, he was the Hawaiian artist on the island because I saw him at the Republic, and he was all over the place. And he knows everyone at everything, and he was just like, oh man. And we became good friends because he's French too. Yeah. But we never made music. Every time we tried to make music, it just didn't work, or it didn't click, or we weren't vibing, or it just happens. And finally, after 5 years, 7 years down the road, we're finally able to lock in and make some music. Dope. So like your friend that was telling you, it's just not the right time. It's just not the right time. And we keep going. And tonight I have a session with Chaesar, which now we're in the...
Shout out.
Yeah, Chaesar exclusive. Who she has to come on. Did she come on?
Yep.
She did?
Oh, I gotta watch her episode. Hasn't been released yet.
No? Oh, nope.
I'm pretty sure it's the next one.
Yeah? All right, rock and roll. Yeah, she's amazing. If you're talking about grind and hustle, she's been grinding and hustling the whole time. And she gave me so many gems, so many good advice. And part of the people that you just... grow together, and it's gonna happen at some point as well. And so we're working finally on a project with her, and which is really cool. And so now we're getting the recording stage. So we wrote 4 or 5 songs, maybe. That's how I like to do it now. Is if we're gonna do a 5-track project or a 10-track project, then we're gonna record double the amount of songs we gotta write.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then we pick like the best ones in the story that kind of blends in and how it works. And so we finally got to that point. We're doing that tonight, which is another project, which is really cool. And so knocking those out and being financially stable is kind of the key. Yeah. I think that would be the long road. Which, we're getting there. 9 to 5 helps a lot more. Helps a lot more. But we're going through the YouTube analytics a little bit from both of our channels and stuff. And it's funny how things are, how it's... that gave me a good boost because everything is it feels so doable again, and it feels like when you have someone else that's doing it as well, and you're able to kind of talk to it, and you're like, oh yeah, let's go. It gets us all the energy back up. And that's why people need to collect more. Now that COVID is over, people need to unite more, which is why the producer showcase with Slap Good and Slap Radio, that was Saturday night too, that crazy Saturday. That crazy Saturday was really fun. And there's much more events and community related events that are the Hanging Mic, where people can kind of link up and kind of sound stupid, but talk about stuff because we're all... How you do your thumb? We didn't do the thumbnail, by the way. We got to take the picture.
I thought about that right after we started talking. I was like, fuck, I forgot to take pictures again.
And but it's cool to be able to talk about that stuff with other people.
Yeah, no, it's great.
That's what I love about this podcast. That's the shit.
Yeah.
Because it's always there. But dang, and we're right close. I'm like 8 minutes away.
Really?
Yep, on Kaneohe Bay Drive.
Oh, that you live?
Yep.
Oh hell yeah. Yep. Where at? I'll cut this part out. I'm like,
and no, man. But I was always curious to ask you about, you do mostly music videos and stuff like that, but when it comes down to editing other videos where you'll need like background music, where do you go? Do you have the music already before editing? And how would you like to make it, how could you make it better?
So I have made very few videos that have background music in them.
Yeah, like podcast doesn't really, or like a music video is already like the song is chosen.
And then there have been a few. So when I very first started and I didn't know how to make a music video, didn't know who to talk to, and I only the very first one I made, I was in training for the military in 29 Palms in California, and one of the guys in my class, he I forget how it even happened. I think I was talking about it and he's like, "Oh, I'm a SoundCloud rapper." And it just fell into it like that.
Boom, right away.
Complete chance.
Did you like the song?
Yeah, I like the song.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool.
But like before I was making those music videos, I was kind of just shooting videos of this landscape, scenery, anything, and then putting some music on them. And I think what I would use was just YouTube, the YouTube library.
Those ones there, When it comes to artists, independent artists can get into those libraries. Those are called music libraries. And so you have the YouTube music library, and you have a bunch of other ones that can go from more boutique high class for like Nike and stuff like that, you know, and more slow ones for like wedding videos or things. And that's a whole industry to get in when it comes to music, and artists can get in there. And that's a whole hard thing to get now, because there's a lot of websites that allow you for like $10 a month. You can download as many songs as you want. Like Epidemic Sound.
I used Epidemic Sound for a bit.
Artists can get in there. Epidemic is really hard to get in. They have like an opening I think they do it twice a year, where they open submissions and artists can go there and get that. And the hardest thing is to find a way to kind of compete with that, in the sense, what would be a project or a video that you would have in mind where even custom music would even be in the project. Like, I can't use, or it's always, I can always use Epidemic, I can always use this, I can always use other things.
Well, I don't use Epidemic anymore. That was too expensive.
Yeah, they were good though. Yeah, those things. Epidemic Sound. And because then there's the YouTube copyright ID, and there's all those claims. You don't want to use a local artist's music, and he's a negative thing about the whole grind culture of the past like 10 years is that there's so many people. A crazy stat, Spotify, 80% of artists on Spotify have less than I think it's 200 monthly listens. Even less than that. I think it's like less than 50.
I would have guessed it was almost 80%.
Nothing. It's crazy. And so there's so much out there now it's even, and there's so many tutorial videos and so many things to learn, that there's a bunch of misconceptions that are happening and misunderstandings. And so now people can get their song claimed on a bunch of different things. And if you're going different routes, you have to really know. It's crazy. And I'm always curious on that, on how to be able to get into the videographers and start to really get music for video, because that's a different way of making music. It's a different arrangement, it's a different style of doing things, and it's a different way of
so are you asking that question in terms of helping yourself know how to reach that market better?
I asked that to a lot of videographers to kind of know what to make, what would be different, like how can I help out, because the main goal is to help. And so if my music doesn't help your vision of the video, then it's not the point. But if I can make it even easier by having maybe a stinger, which is like the ending of a jingle or something, you know, like thing of that, or having different types of exports, the ones without the drums, the ones without the vocals. And that's how kind of sync licensing world is, which is a whole domain. And we were talking about the end goal and the road. You have, with music, there's so many different ways. You can make music for background, for video. You can make music for artists. You can be your own artist. So many different pathways that sync licensing and music for the background of TV has always been a huge part. And it's easier to start local and start the smaller with the things. I had a few things. I'm talking about sync licensing a lot for the artists that might be watching, because they don't really know about it. And it's good money. It's good random checks that comes in from time to time, and you can make the music that you want. People look for everything. I got called to make like a rock album, which was super fun. Never get to do rock stuff, and but it's a long game. It's a long game with the royalties and all that. It's a mess.
Well, I can give you my perspective, because your perspective in terms of using music in a video. Like a videographer using music, sounds, anything. Yours is very like advanced, and you know everything about it inside and out.
Maybe.
well, compared to me.
No, okay. And so my perspective I have a very hard time, if I hear a beat or I hear a song, I have a very, very hard time finding what kind of visuals would go with it, and or simple fact, with just finding the keywords. I have to upload the songs to these music libraries. And so in order for songs to get picked up for a videographer like you, we got to have the right keywords, like city drive or nighttime or bar or club or whatever. And I always have a hard time, and I think a lot of artists have a hard time finding those keywords and those. I have a friend who's a great photographer, and she's really good in finding the right music for the right video, and what feeling really transcribes from the music and how to visualize it. And that's something I always want to link up with videographers for, to help me just what do you see if you hear this? If I send you a beat, you say, I don't know. I feel this more like of a beachy sunset, Corona on the beach, reminds me of that kind of stuff. Or does it remind you, that's something super hard for me. And those are the keys.
When I think about that, what type of music I choose for a video, if I'm doing a video like that, it's really, I feel like it's really personal, because I feel like in this era, we have come to see that audio and video don't have to sync up in the traditional way that you would see in a tutorial.
Yeah.
Where you can make, in movies, you see so many scenes of, if you could get such different emotions if you have a scene of, say, some bad, you're in like a superhero movie and you have some badass villain who's like walking through, I don't know, a fucking burning building. Like, you could play completely different genres of music and get dope ass feels either way, whether it be like classical type shit, and it's like, because they what's the word, they conflict so much, the audio. But then if you go with a more traditional sound, in my mind, it's very personal. It's a completely personal decision based on what the videographer, cinematographer wants to portray.
Right.
In my ideal scenario, I would love to have access to, or if I would have seen on Instagram or something like that, a producer, again, like if I saw the breadcrumbs, where it's like so really niche to me, where it's like, are you a videographer looking for personalized soundtracks, whatever, almost like some, I don't know.
It has to be super, super niche and super, because it's a whole different way of composing and writing. And that's why I was a huge fan of the show Euphoria.
And I didn't watch it, but
you didn't watch it? Music supervisor of the show, the person in charge of putting the music, Jen Malone, she got award best music supervisor in the way, and she just picks indie bands, more or less, like just small bands, and not instrumentational music to fit the scenes. And she did the latest John Wick, and it's just really interesting to see how you can see how music and video, that one person that connects the two is kind of it's like almost like a producer. And so you can recognize some styles of movies in the movies that you like, and you like how the music is, you usually check the music supervisor, and it's kind of the same one all over. And I think that's the beauty of it, is the fact that it is so personal and it is so unique in a way that it's kind of complicated. But we got it all. Next time, if you're gonna work on a big project and something where it's like you need like some scoring or something, I'm so down to help out and try it out.
Word,
because I've never done it. That kind of Hans Zimmer Gladiator scoring stuff, you know. But it's something I need to practice, and so that's why I would love to. If you ever need, I'm in.
That'd be dope.
100%.
That'd be dope.
100%.
I might talk to you about doing like a little like opening jingle to this or something.
I would love
do
to
a little intro.
Okay, cool. I'll work on that.
That'd be fun to make a fun little intro for each one.
I would love those little jingles for music or YouTube or all that kind of stuff. I would love to do those little stingers. I haven't done those. I did a jingle. That was a long time ago. I did a jingle for a game, an app, and it was horrible. It was so lame. I think they paid me $50 for it, which was crazy. It was like a 30-second intro. But that was so hard, and they were so picky. And that's what it is, too, when it comes to music for film, is really a partnership. And so you gotta find. I think Pharrell, when he made the song "Happy," which was for the movie The Minions, and the song blew up. He made that. That was the original soundtrack for Minions. He got hired for the Minions movie. Was it the Minions movie, or was it Gru? You know, the first one. Wherever that song was in. And
Despicable Me.
Yeah. It was the soundtrack for Despicable Me. And it blew up. But he did 8 songs, I think, before the studio accepted. Oh, that one's cool. That's the one. Perfect. And so you're like, oh. And so it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. But it's so interesting. Because music is everywhere. And video is everywhere now too. Before, remember Instagram, where it was, you know, photographers were really important. But now, if you don't make video, it's like not an option. You have to do video content.
Yeah, you do.
Every small business.
Yep. Nuts. Another one of my biggest concerns, honestly, probably the biggest concern, is like licensing shit, because I don't, and I'm sure other like videographers in the similar position as me, still trying to establish themselves. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a lot of others in the same boat. I don't fucking understand licensing.
Licensing?
Like
for music?
Theoretically, like I know, you know, copyright laws and shit like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to monetizing stuff, when it comes to advertising stuff, when it comes to I'm getting money for this, it's just so complicated. Like, it makes me, every time in the past, I've kind of just, in fear of that, settling for like a YouTube, like
the copyright like free or epidemic sound. Licensing is like, think about it as like Blockbuster, as like renting out. You're renting out a song for your project. Yeah. So when I did the song for the Tasso Tea Company and Chaesar, it was, we want your song. We're gonna run for this 1.5 minute Instagram reel. We want to use it for 6 months, and we'll pay you $5,000 for it. So that's the contract, and that's the thing. Then if they want to use it for another 6 months, then they get to pay another negotiation. Yeah. When it comes to music libraries such as Epidemic Sound, they're already in contracts with artists for that. So there's no copyright claim. You're not shut down. You have this license. You pay it $20 a month. You get the license. You're allowed to use this music for all the time. And that's how licensing kind of works. And if you want to avoid it, it's either locking with the local producers and the local musicians who don't. You got to be sure that they're not messed up in their business side, that they don't use samples from Aretha Franklin, or that also is a big issue. And it's such, because it's the same with video. Like, if I want to use the video of someone, how does that work? How does the copyright work? How does all that kind of thing kind of get into it? And so it's a whole game. But usually you're free when you use YouTube stuff that's offered to you, Epidemic Sounds, music libraries, or whatever, or a local producer, or something that you recorded yourself. Yeah. That's why there's the whole Taylor Swift, and has a whole, she re-recorded her old albums. And so now on Spotify you have the same songs, but they're called Taylor's version. And that actually is exactly for that kind of licensing purpose. The problem is that all the rights were owned by the label of that audio file. And the fact of her re-recording it, now it's another audio file and the audio. So now it's a whole different, it's a whole different thing. It's a whole game. That's the business side of it.
Another thing, actually, which I have wanted to get into for a while, but I don't even know how to dip my toes in. Mm-hmm. Like, I could do it myself, but I never have, is sound effects for music videos.
Oh, wow.
So I always just shot music videos, but then once I watched some guy talking about ASAP Ferg's Floor Seats music video, and the sound, I don't know what the right term is, but
sound design, I think.
The sound design, sound profile of that music video, how the song versus the music video, the audio being so not so different, but like the little things, birds, and add flapping to it, clinking, shit like that just adds another level of depth to it. I really want to get into that, but it's so personalized. Because if I have a scene, good luck trying to find the perfect fucking sound effect for that, you know? Which is, but then that'll get into a whole nother thing, which I want to.
That would be good, and that's I think, you know Peter McKinnon?
Yep.
Yeah, it's YouTuber, amazing. I learned all the shit that I know on video was thanks to Peter McKinnon, and he came out with a sound effects pack for his videos of all of his little beatboxing kind of things, and that's a genius idea. Yeah, because it's true, everyone kind of needs those little sound effects and those little things, and but it goes so much. I feel so. I have never done sound effects for a video because it goes in so much precision.
Yeah.
And there's so many different types.
You
of
seen the
things.
videos of people making them
Yeah,
for like major
making Foley
companies
and stuff. Oh,
yeah. Oh my god, how people make them.
It is so interesting.
It is really interesting.
It's so interesting because some people do the weirdest things and it makes the craziest sounds, and you get spaceships and all that kind of stuff, and it's really interesting. And it's people blow up like Stranger Things. Also, like the whole sound from that was made from old synthesizers and analog stuff, and that was crazy.
And then seeing like prop departments, seeing their reels and stuff.
Yeah.
Literally having like how much just sound goes into everything. Having, the one that I saw was how to make like a noiseless paper bag. Because they just needed a paper bag in it, but a paper bag
makes
crinkle and
so
shit.
much noise.
Yeah, so they had to just design.
Oh, that's insane.
So much work went into designing a paper bag.
It's crazy.
Insane.
But at the same time, it makes sense.
It makes absolute sense. But
all over the place. And bad sound design too is like, takes you out of the.
Yeah.
I saw there was this one clip that went viral, and it was, it was Jennifer Lopez and what's the boy's name? The boyfriend of Jennifer Lopez, actor Matt Damon, not Matt Damon, the other guy, Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah.
Going into the car, and Ben Affleck slammed the car door a little strong, and it went viral like, they're fighting and what's going on. But no, it's the video guy added a sound effect of a door slam.
Really?
And it was all fake, and it just blew up.
Crazy.
And that one sound effect made everyone think like, it gave a whole different feel.
Yeah.
It gave a whole different feel to the video.
Insane.
You're like, sound is the whole conjunction. And I think now we're in an age where everything has to be almost immersive. Like sounds and video and lights and color and everything's kind of coming together now. It's just, boo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just those other steps that make it more
always
immersive and they're real. Yeah, it's really cool. I would love to really spend a lot of time doing sound design for music videos.
Oof. Have you tried on their latest music videos or no?
I did.
Here and there?
I think on like one. I really haven't shot that many music videos.
We gotta get you.
I've tried like once or twice, just pulling up random sound effects.
Yeah.
And like, they weren't bad, but it was like.
Plus, it's in your head too, because you have the exact sound that you want.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of like hard to.
Yeah.
And that's that's actually most of my job as a producer, is really getting into the head of the artist, because that's our goal. Is just, my job is to translate what you got in your head out on the speakers, and it's the hardest and easiest thing to do. That's why music is so subjective. So loving the taste of the other person and loving what they do already is just makes it so much more easier.
Yeah.
And most of the studio sessions start with like an hour of just talking and trying things out. First song never comes out good. Second song comes out okay. Sometimes it just works crazy.
Yeah. I'm in the process of making, I think, 5 music videos right now, all in like pre-production though.
Yeah.
Like early pre-production.
Okay.
Still figuring out the ideas, but I got like kind of lucky to where they all I was able to completely come up with the ideas. And I like that because, and I don't mind somebody comes to me with an idea. Yeah. They're like, that's dope. It's your song. Like, absolutely. I'll help you achieve your vision.
That's a fine line.
But it is fun when I get to have like complete creative control.
Yeah.
Cause then it's just, I get to sit down for an hour and just go crazy and whatever I think up, and then write out the whole treatment for them. And I enjoy that. It's like,
how do you communicate? Because that's what's hard as being a producer with an artist, it's hard to give feedback and it's hard to communicate. Like, I'll try this, I'll try that. It's not, because a very creative spot is very vulnerable for people. And so it's the same shooting a video or a music video. Like, once you get that creative direction, then how to word it and how to voice it. Have you had any issues?
So,
you're a good talker too. I mean, it's easy. It's I think you can get the communication out pretty well without like having anyone feeling in bad or took off a little bit. But it takes some time to fine tune that way of working, collaborating on art, which is hard.
Yeah. Well, I can't pretend to be a master of it in the slightest. I'm a complete fucking rookie at it, because I think almost every music video I've shot has been run and gun. But I have made like a good amount of treatments.
Mm-hmm.
most of them unshot. I think all of them unshot.
What?
Actually, the real treatments I've done
Yeah.
for one reason or another. But I'm pretty new at making treatments. Right now, all I do is I sit down and leave it on repeat the song for like an hour while I try and think of ideas. Because every time I sit down, I have no fucking ideas for a song.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I maybe think up one idea, and then that's when my mind's kind of able to off that idea, jump into different things. And all I do is I just write it down, and I try to be very descriptive. But that is pretty much, in all the everything I've read and all the videos I've watched, tutorials I've read on how to write good treatments. Yeah, everything says to not write a book.
Oh, really?
and it's all visuals, finding pictures, making
like a vision board or something.
Yeah, making a visually appealing slideshow, PDF, whatever. Yeah, because if you see a visually appealing PDF that you can slide in your phone and like, damn, that looks high quality, it looks nice, you're probably going to expect the video to look nice. Yeah, because if they can make a PDF then that looks nice, then at least they have the basic understanding of design and what people like to see.
True. And it allows them also to get in your head what you're seeing and what you're talking about rather than just talking it out. And it's the same with music. I have to, whenever we have an idea, we just do it. Record it, play it out, I'll try whispering. Okay, I'm not feeling it, just whisper and we'll see how it goes, and then kind of listen to it. And it's just trying, and visual is the same thing. Show me a visual, you get it. Or listen to something. Yeah. It's so hard, man.
But I do like it's kind of tough sitting down and having to force creativity. Yeah. But I've realized that it's good practice, because if I let myself sit in a state where I don't feel creative, then I'll sit there forever. Yeah. But then I realize that it's kind of like just getting past writer's block. It's just writing.
Yeah. It's just that one thing.
I've got to get the shit in the fucking the gray matter out before before I can actually get to a flow state type thing,
I think, who was it? I think Ed Sheeran said something exactly like that, which was really cool. He said it's just like a faucet that you haven't used in a while. You just gotta turn it on, let that ugly water roll out, and then the clean water comes out. You might have some nasty shit from time to time come through, but then just let those
it'll buff.
Yeah.
And that's how I start every treatment I make. That's how it starts. I'm sitting at the computer like, I have no ideas for this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to force this right now. And then I sit there for another 30 minutes feeling exactly the same way. And then, okay, that might work. Let me just write it down. Yeah. What next? Oh, well, I guess I could add this to that scene, maybe just make it a bit more descriptive there.
And then you get into a state of flow, like an idea will kick in, and
it's like I just get excited for it. Nice. And then that's when, okay. Oh, this would be a dope transition right there. Yeah, it's little things. It's like the vision doesn't. I sit down, kind of like subconsciously having an expectation that I should have a vision. Yeah. But then maybe it's just I have one scene or one transition, one prop that I think would be cool there, and then it just builds from there.
Nice. Yeah. We're all the same.
Yeah, I gotta work just to get myself out of my own head.
There was a good book called The Morning Pages.
The Morning Pages?
Morning Pages. And so actually the book is called The Artist Way. I'll send you the link for it. And it's getting you into the habit of, instead of waiting for the muse or inspiration to come, then you just schedule it. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. sit down, you do this journaling exercise, and then every day at 10 a.m. you're just going to be ready to rock. It's really cool. It's a good one to try out. Yeah. I'll have to send you that one.
That was something that I had to learn when I first started, was that you're never going to, like, at least in my mind, you're never going to be ready. Yeah. So just do it. Yeah. And I hate, like, if I catch myself waiting until I'm ready. Yeah. That's bullshit. That's just that's just an excuse.
Yeah. And it never, well, then nothing ever happens. And that's why I love this podcast, because there's not a lot of newcomers in Hawaii. New things happening are new, and we're all starting to get like a little complacent, and we're always, just doing the same thing. And it's cool to have some freshness a little bit and be able to fucking go. Yeah. So yeah. So I love this stuff.
That's why I hate perfectionism. I used to like say I was like a perfectionist, and then I saw somewhere that it explained that perfectionism is just like an excuse to not do something.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because I realized it called me out wherever I saw it, heard it, whatever. I was like, damn, that's true. Me pretending to be a perfectionist is really just me hiding the fact that I don't want to do something, you know?
Procrastinating.
Like, how can you be a perfectionist if you're not doing anything?
Well, sometimes that color grading, needs a little extra tweak. Maybe I could edit that song a little bit more, but it's just hitting that stage where it's good enough. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm happy with that. It's good enough. just put it out.
Yep, perfect is
See
the
how it
enemy of
goes.
good.
Oh.
That type shit.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
Ugh.
And sometimes, yeah, finding that good enough. All my stuff is good enough.
Yeah.
It's okay. We
Yeah.
can all tweak something a little more.
I've learned to love like being not perfect and just accept. It took me a long time to be happy to just be good and not be the best.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
tough though. And
Yeah.
I'm still I catch myself
Yeah,
so
me
often.
too. Me too. And it's just don't overthink it. You know, it's good enough, or it's gonna work out. And now you get to a phase where you start, you know, the edit, you know, the post production, you know, the different things. So now you can know that. I've been realizing this more and more. Actually, I've been really perfectionist these last few on the last content that I've been doing, and it's really been bugging me. And these last few times, it's been turned out so good when I'm in the edit phase. In the shooting phase, I'm like, I'm tweaking the angle, tweaking the light, tweaking the disc, redoing that, doing a lot of work, and then I get to the point where it's just let's just shoot it and never mind. And then when I get to the edit, I'm actually happy with what I did. It's like, actually, I was really good at what you did, so that's fine, and it works out. And so it's in the moment where I have to find myself how to detach a little bit, and not be too perfectionist when it comes to the shooting day. Otherwise, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing.
And I think there is actually, I don't know. What's your thoughts on this? So one question that some people have posed to me in the past is like what you actually put out. It is important, and I've had a lot of people say, and I don't think it's not valid, because like if you have a lot of trash out, you know, like obviously the level of what you put out matters. My thoughts on it are, I will put out fucking anything and everything as long as I keep going, because I'm gonna keep learning and it's going to slowly get better. And then one day in the future, what I'll probably do is I'll probably scrub like most of my shit, and then just whatever my new, like, all right, yep, that's fine, that's good, whatever that is, after a certain time, whenever it's like just higher quality, then I just scrub shit and it becomes more professional, because it's like, now it's like, oh, everything that is released from here is good. Is that when there's not you don't see the mountain of bullshit that I've put out.
But then that's my theory on it is I'm a big fan of keeping everything. Since it's online once, might as well keep it on there online, because at least you have the paper trail of where you came from. And looking back, it's amazing the amount of kind of like ego boost it can kind of give you on seeing like the old stuff you've done. And it's really good in the moment that you feel a little down. And I've had several artists that are like that, where we had to erase their whole Spotify, and all the songs that we worked together are gone because we're going to a different angle or a different vision and a different thing. And for me, it's always like, oh man, I love it so much what you did that, but it's such a bummer. And it's a hard world. But now I think that I consider TikTok as like your stories. I just put whatever on TikTok and whatever. I don't really bug. But Instagram has to be much more clean, a little more proper. YouTube too has to be much more clean, much more proper. And so there is the presentation that comes into account, so that we can have that breadcrumb effect of going really down. And but your stuff has been looking top notch, and I was surprised. I saw your gear, and when you told me you're filming, it was so, I'm like, wow, it does great job on the color editing, good job on everything on the rest, because it's clean, and the dome lights and everything. You start learning the things that are really important to you and what matter really for you. You know, you start learning, I love how the lighting kind of hits there, I like this way, I like this thing. And that's kind of how you can find your identity in a way, in the creative space.
It's that trial and error, just not stopping.
Trial and error, exactly.
Trial
and error.
It's crazy how in my mind it all just comes back to just don't stop, don't give up. Because all the nitty gritty details of marketing strategies, content strategy, first 3 seconds of a reel, this, that, how to set up the lights, how to set up the camera, formats, editing processes, batch, presets.
I'm just overwhelmed
all
already.
just comes down to like, don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Just do it. Don't worry about if it's not good. Like,
hit that good enough point. If it's good enough for you, then that's it. It's the most
even
important.
if it's shit and you know it's shit, and like, it doesn't matter. Just do it and just have fun. Really, just have fun and don't give up, because improvement will come.
100%. There's nothing better than that. And that's the same, like mixing. I get so many questions. How do you mix this or this and that. And mixing just comes, the more you mix, the better you're gonna get. That's it. There's no secret, no nothing. There's no like, I gotta mix at 200 hertz, this, the bass and the 808 and this, that is no. It's like it's training. You just get your ears trained. Same for you. You know exactly the edit. You're gonna, the more you edit, the more you do the videos, the more this, you know exactly how things work. So there's no secret. And that's what all the other YouTubers say. There's no secret. Just keep doing it and don't quit. But they're right. It's true.
And and that's crazy because it sounds like bullshit when they say it.
Yeah, every time
it sounds like bullshit.
You say it now, but
and like one thing that always interested me is you see people like Peter McKinnon.
Yeah, love Peter McKinnon.
Yeah, he's great. A lot of like really amazing, talented YouTubers, teachers like that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say this is just one thing that interests me. A lot of them will say that it doesn't matter the camera you have. And in my mind, I was always like, okay, yeah, I can take your word on that, but it's bullshit. I know you don't have.
I know you're filming on a
I know
red
you have a
cam.
nice ass camera, but it really is like. It really is true that it doesn't, having a nice camera isn't going to make you successful. It might make you be able to have a good video today, but if you stop, then it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
And if you keep going, eventually you're going to reach the point where you know when it's time to get a new camera. So like,
yeah, you're going to get that new camera anyways.
Yeah.
If it's going to happen. And so it's just, it's the same. It's exactly the same with music. It doesn't matter the guitar you have. It doesn't matter the program you use. It doesn't matter none of that. It's just, those are just tools to get what you have in your head. So if you have a good idea in your head and you know how to, the basics of the tools, right? You know how to shoot a video, you know the ISO, you know the focal length, you know those basic things. Then when you upgrade, those are the things you gotta master. Yeah. And then the rest rolls. But it takes time.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes saying just don't give up, or like the only advice I can give is like don't stop. Yeah. I feel like sometimes you might hear that and be like, all right, easy for you to say, you're already there. When I feel like really like what that is saying is like, your skill and knowledge needs to be better. Yeah. And the only way you can improve that is by not stopping. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. By working on the next project, by filming the next project, doing the next project, and doing that, and just keep it going. And you're building up a catalog of stuff. Mm-hmm. And you can see your progress. And just even doing it today, to be able to look at it later, like a year down the road or something down the road, and you're just, that was nasty. That was rough. But it was cool. I worked out however I wanted it. And we're saying this just to tell us this, that we got to keep going, because it's
honestly always, right?
It's always rough, always up and down, and there's always that phase where you don't want to keep going. You feel it's not worth it, and there's always something cool that happens afterwards. So it's always keep going. It gets lonely real quick. But then we're all doing the same thing, which is so crazy. Is because it feels lonely when you're in your bedroom editing the videos and doing all that, and not, locked into your thing and behind your screen talking to friends on Instagram and this and that. But then once you get out into the world and meet up with other people, like doing other podcasts or other collaborations or other things. Mic. Yeah, the hanging mic. That was really good. That was also awesome. A really cool idea that just came to fruition, and it worked out great. The video came out amazing. The hanging mic was really good. Yeah. You got to do it.
Yeah, but ultimately it's like, just got to not give up. I just got to keep, that's my thing is I am always trying to not let myself get hung up. Yeah. I'm always trying to take that next step.
Yeah, we notice
whether it be small, whether that next step be just the next day doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep maintaining what I know and the effort level.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And I think that's the best way. We can notice it. And you can feel it. And you can sense it on people when they do it that way.
A lot of what has helped me a lot recently is learning not like artistic skills, not business skills, but learning, well, I guess it kind of counts as business skills, but learning just personal life skills of managing my own life best, managing my time. Scheduling was a big one. Yeah. That has helped me so much.
Scheduling has helped me a lot too, because you can just obey the calendar.
Exactly.
Don't think about what you got to do, just obey the calendar.
Even like if I am not going to take any next steps, as long as I can get a calendar date in, that next step is set in stone.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like I made a commitment, and it's just easy. Yeah. It's just so easy to follow that compared to as like when it's just up in air.
Yeah, it's crazy. And people think, I know that I never really got into scheduling, and I was always like kind of like I had my views on it, and I was like, those too organized, you don't need that. We're not at the level where we need that. But it's your mind gets clogged up with so much stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's so hard to just sit down and focus on one thing, that if you have to think about all the other stuff you got to do, if you just write it down and kind of empty and forget about it, then it helps out so much.
Yeah, and then like for
much.
me, it's like taking advantage when I have energy to do something.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of that to force myself.
Yeah.
To do something at some point, because say I'm like, hey, all right, let's set this next Thursday 4 p.m. How does that sound? It doesn't matter. Like if I didn't say that next Thursday at 4 p.m., I would probably be like, all right, I don't feel like going out. I don't feel like doing anything. Let me go edit. And then like that's good. Editing's good, but it's not progressing me in a new way, you know? And it's good. It's maintaining.
Yeah.
It's keeping that content there, but like I'm not growing from that. Whereas meeting with somebody else, I'm going to be growing because I'm gonna be able to talk to them and they know shit.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the best. It's the best way to do it. And it's like you feel we're all busy. We're all busy, and so it's finding the right. I can be busy in different kind of ways. You can be busy as you're making music with someone else, or I can be busy tweaking a snare drum for an hour or not, you know. And so now I'm at the stage where I'm trying to figure out with the 9 to 5 and life and everything goes crazy. So now it's finding out where to put the energy.
Yep.
What's worth it for me personally, really. Like what I really want to do, what I really want to like doing, then that's where the energy goes. Which is really cool.
That's a great point, that you can choose what you're busy in.
Yeah, you can. Everyone can. But it's hard to choose, though. Sometimes you're just
it is. It's so hard.
I know now I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna be overwhelmed again because I'm gonna see all the notes, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. But you just gotta. It's part of the process. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
If you list it out, you started listing out everything, and you just listening to the list.
I'm sorry.
Man, that's true. But be busy on only important things.
Yeah.
And the important things, you know what's important only by doing. So the more it's a vicious circle.
Yeah. That's why like the podcast, setting it up for release Monday at 6 a.m. helped me so much to get back into a schedule. Good. The one thing I need to set, because but, I mean still usually that's editing it at Sunday 10 p.m.
We could try to avoid that one.
Yeah, so I do need to get better at scheduling working hours.
Do you get good at ignoring the alarms sometimes? Like I have sometimes it's okay, I gotta deadlines work really well for me. So having a release date or having this got to be mixed at this time works really well.
Yeah,
but
same.
I'm still the guy to do it at the last minute.
Yeah,
though.
absolutely.
Even if it's written down, it's at the last minute. But having a deadline really helps me.
Oh, me too.
Check things off. And a lot of people don't. And it's hard to put a deadline on creative things, like writing an album. Let's put a deadline, but we didn't make. Yeah. We only made 3 songs that weren't too crazy. Yeah. So what do we do? And but. You can always push back a deadline, but as long as there's a deadline, there's a deadline.
I need a deadline because it's like going back to high school. When I was in high school, I'd have a deadline and I wouldn't do anything until it's right before. So it's like even just having a deadline there, I'm gonna probably at the last second work hard as hell.
Yeah, but it's gonna get done.
Well, and even if it doesn't get done, because sometimes like sometimes I fuck up.
Yeah,
and like sometimes I don't get it done, but at least at that point, that deadline's there.
Yeah.
Then I can take action and say, whoever I'm working with, whatever, hey, let me push this back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get back to you with this on this day at this time.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But having that deadline there, it just keeps it in existence.
Yep. Otherwise, time flies. Boom.
Otherwise, it's gone.
The year is over. You're like, oh, no.
Otherwise, other deadlines will take precedence.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's very
whether
true.
They're like whether they're formal or informal deadlines, you know? Yeah. Whether it's a 9 to 5 deadline of, all right, my free working hours for my personal working hours, their informal deadline is like 11 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
Because 8 a.m. Tomorrow, there's a formal deadline of I'm there. You know,
you can't do nothing on that time. Respect to everyone on the 9 to 5 is so. never quitting really comes into account a lot because it's really hard and it takes a lot of energy. And I got lucky at the beginning because I was married, and so I had my ex-wife that was helping me out a lot, and we were in a lucky situation where I could kind of just do little jobs here and there. She was the main breadwinner, so I really got lucky on that. It really helped me grind a lot, and yeah, and being back in the 9 to 5, it's a balance, huh? It's a balance for everyone. It's hard, but
I know for me, sleep is important.
yeah.
To where recently I've been bad about my sleep schedule.
Oh, man.
Where like I need to get 8 hours.
Yeah.
If I can get 8 hours, that's
Yeah.
peak. That's like
good.
I'm set for success.
Okay.
But I have not recently, just because it's so tough balancing. Because then I get home and it's like balancing the time, which
Yeah.
I'm not great at.
No, and it's hard, and you want to. And you're a really in the moment also kind of guy. I feel so. It's like if you're hanging out with your girl or if you're hanging out with
Yeah.
the homie, it's like the phone is. You're not looking at your phone. You
Yeah.
know, it's you're in it, and so time flies in those moments too.
Yeah. And then I'm not great at communication because
we
that's
all aren't.
deadlines is important.
Mm.
Where what would really help me is communicating, especially like when I'm having dinner with my girl or something. Like if I don't communicate well ahead
Yeah.
of time, that like, hey, tonight I have this to work on.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's disrespectful for me to then leave like unannounced.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like I don't like that. Or
And-
hanging out with friends. Like if they have
Yeah.
something planned,
Mhm.
but then I'm like, oh, they
I
were
can't-
talking to me about this, but I didn't mention to them that I have an interview.
Yeah.
Or that I am meeting to schedule a music video.
Yeah.
And it's like, ew.
Yeah, and it's at the stage that you're at now, at the stage that when we do get successful, people will understand that much more. But also now the concept of we're doing all this for free in a way.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, oh, well, come on, you can do the part, you can edit the video tomorrow. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, yes, I can, but no, I can't at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing. That's why I'm going back to France to see my family, which I haven't seen in like 2017, 2018,
Yeah.
almost 7 years. And my mom still says, oh, how's the little music thing going, you know, this and that. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, you know, now that's what I do. And so that's also gonna be an interesting conversation that I'm curious to have now, going back and seeing like a little bit. Not a lot of people get the concept behind it, especially with social media and
Yeah.
and content and all that. And it's kind of hard. That's why it feels really lonely in a way, and it's good to be able to talk it out with other people
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
yeah, like, oh, you saw the change of algorithm in that, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
crazy. Oh yeah, my chapters were all off. I didn't get it so many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. There's those things.
Yeah. All right, man.
A true pleasure, huh?
We'll wrap it up.
Really, yeah. And thank you so much for this. I remember when we were talking about, we locked the deadline, we locked the date right away. We said, oh,
Yeah.
what would he do with this? Boom.
Yeah. Yep.
So that
yeah,
came
that was
clutch.
crucial.
And that's
that was
check
crucial.
on the
There's
list.
I can't. There's been so many artists who I've said I would love to get you in on an interview. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no,
Didn't lock a date in.
exactly. Yeah, I
Hasn't
learned that
happened.
one. I learned that lesson
Yep.
a long
Oh,
time ago.
Yep.
If you don't put a date on something, then it's not gonna happen. And
Yeah.
and it's all genuine good love too.
Yeah,
There's
it
so many
is.
people. It's like, let's do something,
just
and it just
happens.
doesn't happen.
Yep.
It works. But yeah, thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me on. Amazing coffee.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah,
All right,
I love
bet.
coffee. No sugar, perfect.
So, last two things I always ask. One, if you had any last sage words to leave our audience off with, what would you leave them with?
We said we don't quit. We said that a lot already. But sage words would be just to trust your gut, is what I would say. Trust your gut. If you feel like this project is fun, is cool, and you like it, and you're interested, and you're passionate about it, go for it. If you're embarrassed about showcasing a project to friends and things like that, then it might not be the project you should be working on. Because I had a lot of times where I was making a bunch of music and I liked it, but I was too afraid, and they're like, they're not going to vibe with it. They're not going to vibe with it. They're not going to vibe with it. But at a certain point, either hang out with the people that are going to vibe your stuff, or start making things that you know you're going to vibe with.
Yeah.
So trust your gut is the key to that. I think that's that. Yeah. That's a good one. That's
Hell
a good
yeah.
one for me. Trust my gut always helped. Always worked.
Bet. And then finally, for anybody who might be just listening, could you say all of your social handles, everywhere to
yeah.
find you? Say all that out loud.
So you can find me on, my name is Eric Dubois. You can find me on all the socials at EDP_beats. That's YouTube, Instagram, SoundCloud, all that kind of stuff. Just type EDP Beats on Google. There's another guy on YouTube apparently that's called EDP Beats, and so I'm getting a lot of comments like you got to change your name, but it's too late now. Too late down the road. And I do a live stream on Twitch on Mondays and Fridays around 4 p.m. Hawaii time. There's a cool sunset at that time. I try to be as consistent as I can.
Yeah,
I'm often
valid.
not, but yeah, you can hit me up there.
Perfect. Well, man, I appreciate your time so much and everything. It was great having this conversation.
Love, always.
If you guys made it this far, appreciate your time. Hope you took something from it. Stay safe, stay happy, drink water, all those good things.
Much love. Peace out from Hawaii.
Peace. All right, bet.
Nice, you killed, dude.